Well, hello, everybody. Today in the studio, we have Dr. Brett Cooper.
Hello.
Dr. Cooper. Brett, may I call you?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
As you have for a couple of decades now.
Okay, so I was a student from 2007 to 11, and you told me back then, I think probably the first time I met you, just call me Brett.
Yes.
You've never been all about being called Dr. Cooper.
No, I really haven't. But that's part of working at Williams. It's a very personal place, and first name basis just seems to be natural.
Yeah. When did you get your doctorate?
Actually in 07.
Really?
Yes, about the time you started, I was just finishing my PhD.
Gotcha. Let's rewind even further.
Okay.
You told me a story one time about Dr. Williams.
There's several.
Or I should call him H.E., I guess, for short.
He was always Dr. Williams. We didn't go first name on that one.
Nobody?
I'm sure Ms. Beatrice called him H.E. Actually, she called him Hubert.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. That was his wife?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So you told me a story where he called you one time and he's like, does your first name have... What was that story?
He called when I had first started. I had just been here a couple of days, and I had had the privilege of meeting Dr. Williams, the man for whom the college is now named. And he just said, is there one T or are there two in your name? I said, oh, there's two. There was a little pause. He said, okay. Hung up. Came in with one of these little acrylic desk plates, that has your name on it. And he was a handyman. He could do a little bit of everything. He ran a print shop. And one of the things he did was make these little acrylic desk plates with people's name on them. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently he had gone ahead and done one for the new PR director. I was the director of public relations when I started here, and it was a very nice gift. And I guess he had gone ahead and made it with just one T. So when I got it, it was two T's for Brett Cooper, but one T was in the little space. So everybody in the office for years talked about how it was just one name, kind of like Madonna, just Brett Cooper, one straight across. He had filled in that space. With the one T, he had failed to include in my name. It still sits on my bookshelf in my office. I would not take any amount of money for that desk plate Dr. Williams made for me.
Well, that's a nice little gift. And piece of history even.
Yes.
Because he started the school in his late 20s?
Yes, he was 28 years old, and when he founded the Southern Baptist College in Pocahontas, Arkansas, where we started. It was in 1941. He was the youngest college president in the nation at the time.
Wow.
Yes.
And then, so that was 1941. And then what year did you start at Williams?
I started here in the fall of 1993.
Okay, so fall 1993. What was his title at that time?
He was President Emeritus at that time, as he had been since he retired in the early 70s. But
so he retired.
Yes, but he still lived on campus in what we call now the Commandant's house over by the baseball field. That's where he raised his family and where he and Ms. Beatrice lived until the time he passed.
What year did he pass?
1998.
1998. Okay. So you started in 93.
Correct.
And he was living on campus.
Correct.
Did he still have a lot of influence?
Yes, he did. Well, I would say this. Dr. Williams had a lot of presence. You saw Dr. Williams everywhere he was. And there's influence where there is presence with someone who has founded a university, a college that went on to become a university. In those days, we used to take a coffee break every morning at 10. I don't know how we found the time for it, but we did. We'd go over to the cafeteria.
What do you mean we did?
Everybody in the administration building would take a coffee break, or everybody was entitled to one around 10 o'clock. So we'd take 10 or 15 minutes, go over and catch up and see everyone. And Dr. Williams, as well as Dr. Savage, who was a retired Old Testament professor, would usually be there. And would take nothing for the experience that I had hearing those guys come in and tell old stories. Just a few years to get to know two legends on this campus.
Wow. Every day at 10?
Every day. It was about 10 o'clock, yes.
And I guess that's not that crazy because you think about, there were a lot more smokers and those cigarette breaks were a little more frequent. And so I guess the idea of taking a 10, 15-minute break, 10 o'clock is not the craziest thing at the time.
It was in the culture of the 90s. It was not that uncommon at all. You'd find folks in town, probably still do, that a coffee break was just considered part of the day. Like I say, we are so busy now, I have no idea how we found the time to do that. And I didn't go over every morning. None of us did, but probably 2 or 3 mornings a week at least I would. And I would hear Dr. Williams tell old jokes and old stories, and just learned a lot about him and a lot about the culture of Williams through that.
Please tell me you have one of those jokes for us.
I think we better let his jokes be interred with him. I think that might be for the best.
I like where this is going, though. This is perfect. So you started in 93.
Correct.
And what was the college like back then?
It was a very different campus when you drove onto the Williams Baptist College campus in 1993 than what it is now. We did not have some of the beautiful buildings on campus that we have now. The Swaim Administration Building, where we're sitting right now, was not here. There was a much older building in those days. There was no Manley Chapel.
And Gerald Swaim, was he the president when you started?
No, he was the dean, actually. He was actually the academic dean when I started. He became president a couple of years after that in 1995.
Okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
okay.
not at all.
So then Manley Chapel wasn't
Manley
here.
Chapel. I mean, we did not have Cash Hall. We didn't have the current incarnation of the Sloan Center or the Maybe Student Center as it is now. Some of those, we had smaller versions of them, but it's a very different campus now. And it was still in the vestiges of its community college days. Now, we had been a 4-year college for about a decade by the time I started here, but only about a third of our students lived on campus, whereas now it's upwards of 70-75% of our students actually live on campus every year. So obviously that gives campus life a whole new meaning, much different than what it was then.
Yeah. So you were hired then to bring that change about, is what it sounds like. People probably didn't know it was a 4-year at that time, I'm assuming, because it would have been 2-year for so long.
It had been 2-year, and it took us a long time to get folks to realize that we are now a 4-year college. I was brought in to help market this place, to help publicize it in general. In those days, you called it public relations. These days, you call it marketing and communication. The job is still, the responsibilities are largely the same. Obviously, with electronic media, it's a very different world doing publicity now than it was in 1993. But that's what I was brought in to do, and those 3 decades have been pretty momentous for the school. It's been a lot of fun to sit and watch this place grow the way it has.
Yep. So 1993 is when you started. Where was chapel held at? Because you said Manley wasn't here yet.
There was no Manley Chapel, so chapel services, as they were for years, were held in the Sutherland Mabee Center in the gym.
Okay. Now, what year did they start in the gym? Because you know Alan Elkins.
I do.
I think he was here in the late 80s and early 90s.
Yes, he was here just a little before I was.
So they used to have chapel in the startup chapel.
Yes, that had ended by the time I started here.
Okay.
From the time I started up until fall of 2009, chapel was held in the gym.
Yeah. Well, how did they hold it in the startup? Was it only required for those who lived on campus? Or
I've wondered that myself. I don't know how, because startup chapel, of course, when the pews were there, you could cram a few more folks in, but you're probably looking at 150,
right?
Somewhere in there. So I've wondered that myself, and I've never really thought to ask anyone who was around then how they managed to fit everyone in.
I heard that when he was here, they had a mime come and speak one time.
Well, did the mime really speak, or was that a presentation?
Alan and one of his friends had egged him on enough that he actually spoke, to which his friend said, "Wow, a talking mime." And so,
if anyone could, Alan Elkins could make that happen.
He knows how to push people's buttons.
It's a gift. It's a spiritual gift Alan has.
Yeah, so when I started, we were doing chapel in the gym.
Yes.
And it was always full. Because,
yes.
we have 400 or 500 students present in any given Wednesday. And that fills the bleachers up pretty quickly.
Yes, it was pretty full. In fact, a lot of the faculty and staff would sit on the track back behind the bleachers.
Yeah.
I've watched many chapel from back there on the track.
Yep. Okay, so fall '93 you started. That's where chapel was. What else was life like back then, in maybe late '90s?
You know, Williams has always been an outstanding school. Academically, it was still a school that set high standards and helped students reach them. It still made a big difference. It transformed a lot of lives, not just academically, but spiritually and socially. What we do here, our calling is to launch these men and women God sends our way out into life, not just preparing them to make a living, preparing them to make a life. So you need to understand that even though the campus was very different back then, it wasn't as pretty, frankly, as it is now. And with a lot fewer students living on campus, it wasn't as lively as it is now. But it was a great school, and it was exciting to be a part of even then.
Mm-hmm. Fast forward, Y2K happened.
Yes.
The computers didn't turn off.
It turns out we survived Y2K.
Yeah, all the files and enrollment stayed, I guess.
Yes, they did. Although I don't know if you remember in Cave City, which was close to your neck of the woods in 2000, someone fired a deer rifle into a substation at midnight that night and caused a power outage there. So there was a little panic in southern Sharp County over Y2K. That was about it.
Yeah, I do not remember that. But I woke up on Y2K day in somewhere around Little Rock. We were staying with some family, maybe in Benton. I think that's where I was, or maybe Cabot, that area. But yeah, I remember waking up. I remember thinking, I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to wake up, it's going to be a different world. And nothing was different.
Pretty much the same world the next morning, wasn't it?
Yeah. I heard a story about Dan Watson and the whole website stuff.
Yes.
Were you around when the school got their first website?
Yes, that was in the mid-'90s when we were trying to decide if this internet thing was going to amount to anything. Spoiler alert, it did. It turned into a pretty significant thing.
Yeah.
And Dan, who was a business professor at that time, also took care of computer matters for us because in those days, you could almost take care of computer as a sideline. We didn't have a ton of computers on campus. Internet, as I say, was in its very early stages. So Dan got us started with a very rudimentary website, but rudimentary in those days was the norm. That's what everybody had. And he started us out with something called email that we didn't know if that would ever take root either. Spoiler alert, it did. Yep. It ended up becoming a big deal. So I think it was around 95 or 96 that Dan got us started with both of those.
Wow. So that happens, and then Y2K, and then probably one of the most significant events, Cash Hall was built.
Yes, in the late 90s.
And I'm referring to the band.
Yes. Yes, Cash Hall was formed. Cash Hall, the dorm, the lesser of the two Cash Halls, from the way we're talking about it now. It was built in the late 90s, named for Mr. and Mrs. Moscow Cash and Harrison. They had been great donors to the school. And then the band Cash Hall named itself after the dorm, and had a wonderful ministry. Played at Siloam Springs Camp, played in a lot of churches, and you and I are still in touch with most of the guys that were part of that band.
Yep, they went on to get their name changed, and they were in a a competition essentially to get the next signed label, or get on the label of, I can't remember which company it was, but they lost to Family Force 5.
No way, really?
So, and that's that kind of became like a camp soundtrack band that, they did a lot of big stuff. So.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that story.
Yeah.
The reason they changed their name to Calls from Home, because they were Cash Hall, they had CH on their bass drum head. And so when they decided they needed a name that sounded a little more, spiritual, they went with Calls from Home because their drum head would still work. The CH would still work with that. I always thought that was clever.
I did too. And I always thought they should have just stuck with Cash Hall. I think it has a little bit better of a ring to it.
And we could lay claim to it.
And I always thought that my band, when I got to Williams, would be called Wilson Hall.
The companion piece.
Yes, yeah, the junior cash hall, yeah, the entry level band.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, so those guys were here, and they were a huge influence on me, obviously, to come here. I didn't even apply to go anywhere else. And Chuck was the bass player. He was my youth pastor.
Yes.
Over in Melbourne, which you have a lot of connections in Melbourne. But
yeah, both my parents grew up in Melbourne, so Izard County is kind of a second home to me. I grew up in Mountain Home, and then, less than an hour away is Melbourne. So, yes, we got a lot of connections there. Of course, we knew Chuck. I knew Chuck well as a student here, and I still see Chuck at state convention and stuff. Richie Jester, who is a talented musician, was also and is a good photographer. He was my student photographer for a couple of years.
There we go. Richie's a really creative guy.
Very much so.
I'm not surprised that he was a good photographer.
Yeah, creativity tends to lap over into a lot of fronts, and he just kind of took photography. He kind of learned it as he went, and he was excellent. He really captured a lot of the spirit of the campus during his time.
So, what was Brett Cooper's life like in the late 90s, early 2000s?
Well, of course, I was still a single man. You might say I'm something of a late bloomer. I didn't get married until I was 57, but in those days, I was single, and that worked well. I had the time to invest in this place and in relationships, just some wonderful friendships I had with students over the years. They do run together on me. I'll run into an alum that I knew from the 1990s, and I'll tell them about another alum I ran into, and it turns out that one was here in 2012. But in my mind, you guys
Sure.
were all here at the same time.
Yeah.
But my life in those days and for a lot of years to come was being able to spend time hanging out with students. They'd come over for movie nights at my house. I'd see them, hang out with them in the cafeteria at lunch. Just some wonderful relationships that I'm still blessed to have with students from those days.
What about the larger community? Because it seems like you're involved with everything that has to do with Walnut Ridge, Lawrence County.
Try to be involved. Yeah.
Was that all that like just PR stuff in the beginning, or was it like a strategic, like I need to be a pillar in the community?
Really it did start out as more of a strategic thing. We needed more involvement. We needed more of a presence in the community, and in public relations or marketing communications, it does kind of fall to that office. That's our function, to keep us tied in with our community. Ended up getting elected to the board of the Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, and it was one of the first of 3 stints I did on their board, and got tied up with the Walnut Ridge Kiwanis, and I'm still actively involved with both of those organizations. And I really encourage people now to dig into your community. When I first moved here, it took me a while to develop the fondness that I now have for it. It wasn't home. It wasn't what I was used to. And once I got to know the people of the community, that's what a community is. It's people. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have pretty downtown areas and neat festivals and all those things, and we have that. But it's the people I've had the privilege to work with, to lock arms with, and make some neat things happen in the community. That's the part of it I treasure most.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I was just now putting together, too, like you were saying the campus was not as beautiful when you first started as it is now. I'm assuming it's be the same about Walnut Ridge. There is a lot of business developments, too, that have changed, and downtown is, I'm assuming, at some point in Walnut Ridge's history, the downtown was booming, thriving, and then, like, even Jonesboro's downtown became nothing for several decades, and then it revitalized.
Yes, we're blessed to have a renaissance underway in downtown Walnut Ridge right now, and I think that's just beginning. I feel like with new jobs that are coming downtown, there are some wonderful things to come. But you're exactly right. We had the same experience that small towns have had everywhere, especially in this farming area of northeast Arkansas. When I moved here, most of the storefronts on Main Street in Walnut Ridge were occupied. Clothing stores, jewelry stores, shoe stores, all of that. Yes.
Oh, cool.
But, the story of what has happened to downtowns has been told over and over again just about everywhere. bigger stores either on the edge of town or in other towns moved in. You saw, the Amazon type mail order things come in, and that drained some business. So here, as everywhere, Main Street lost some of its the stores in its storefronts. But long about 2010, when the Arkansas legislature declared Rock and Roll Highway 67 to run from Bald Knob up to the state line, that obviously comes right through Walnut Ridge. And it was meant to commemorate the old Sun Records artists that used to travel up and down that road performing at the venues. We call them dives now, but the venues up and down the road. It was a way to celebrate a neat musical heritage. I was part of a group, actually chair of the committee, that said we have a unique contribution to that because the Beatles landed at our airport way back in the day, September of '64. So we came up with this idea. It was kind of a lark that we just pursued, and it's blown up beyond what we ever expected that it would as far as popularity. But we came up with the funds, didn't use a single tax dollar to build Beatles Park downtown. And the Guitar Walk, which is over by the train depot, which celebrates a lot of those old rockabilly artists that traveled through here in the late 50s in particular. And we did not anticipate that would catch on with Beatles fans in particular the way it has. We didn't even plan to have a festival, but such a huge crowd showed up when we unveiled the sculpture that a festival was born.
Wow.
Beatles at the Ridge has been with us every September since then.
Yeah, and that event brings so many people.
Yes.
That is a really well done event. So,
thank you.
Good vision on all of that. So,
there's a lot of blessing. There really is. God has blessed me to be a part of some neat things. Paving the rail trail from Hoxie up to the Williams campus. That's a 6.5 mile trail that took us forever to get it paved, but we have, and that's just a fun project to have been a part of. Rewarding.
And it got completed just in time for COVID.
So. That was just about right.
Yeah. I couldn't believe how popular it was.
Yes.
When I was out there in the 2020, 2021. That thing is heavily used.
It is.
It's a really great
It's an asset for the community. It really is.
Yep. Okay, and it comes right back to Williams, which is where I want to take this conversation.
Yes.
Okay, so 2000s, you have the whole Cash Hall band. That's all great. And then 2004, the school changed again when Andy Miller graduated from Melbourne High School and came here.
The school has never fully recovered from that, yes.
Yeah. Andy's on our board. I think he graduated in 2008.
I believe that's right. Yes.
So
he and Toby and they were just a bunch of good folks from that area in those days.
Yeah. So and that's when I started, and you were kind of known as the guy who doesn't like to be called Dr. Cooper, but rather Brett. Very personable. You were working upstairs. The internet had taken off at that point, so it was there to stay.
It was an established fact by that time. And, honestly, with the internet, a year or two after we got it started, we realized that Dad had done us a favor, gave us a little head start. Of course, it became huge and remains huge.
Yeah. So so you started out as the PR director?
Correct.
And then what year did you... what was the next advancement there?
That was the title I held until 2007. About the time I finished my doctorate, Dr. Swaim named me Vice President for College Relations, and I held that title along the way. 2011, 2012, I took on the title of VP for Advancement. Enjoyed doing that. Helped raise funds. Of course, I was still over the marketing and communications in those days, and then it became VP for Creative Services, and now Dean of Work Education is thrown into that also.
And that is like the umbrella over Williams Works.
Correct.
With that side of the education.
Correct.
Very good. So and that was, what year did that start for you? I
became a vice president in 2007. You got to move way ahead, which may get ahead of your timeline here. It was 2020 when we started Williams Works.
Okay. So 2007, VP over services now.
College relations.
College relations.
Yeah.
And then advancement was brought into that too in 2012.
Yes, 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. I guess it was 2012 when that took place. And,
okay. What was? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I kept that title for 5-6 years, something like that.
Okay. What was college or what was campus life like in 2010 to 15, 16?
It began to look a lot more like the Williams that we know now, because by that time we had been blessed with some beautiful structures on campus. Mm-hmm. The way I describe that is the college started to look the part of what it had always been. It has been a fantastic school that has shaped a lot of lives in a great way since it was founded in 1941, but it didn't always look the part. There were some old, even some old leftover buildings from the World War II Air Base up until the mid-aughts of the 2000s. And then you got this building, the Swaim Admin Building in 2005. We built Manley Chapel in 2009. Nicholas Hall went up around 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. So by the time you're talking about, the campus was starting to look a lot like what it does right now. The on-campus population, the resident population, I should say, had grown to close to the proportion that it is now, where 2/3 to 3/4 of the students actually live on campus. So you had a very active campus, not just during the school day, but as you and I know, college students are and always have been nocturnal. They don't really come to life until get into the later hours. So with dorm life and residence life, it started to look a lot like the school that we enjoy now.
When 2008, I think that's when Butler Hall opened.
That would be about right, yes.
And I wasn't in there the first semester it was open, but the second semester I was rooming with Marcus Witcher.
Yes.
Old Marcus. And half of the Butler was empty, though.
Really?
Because everybody was so used to living in Cash and Wilson that we were so used to the amount of community and hang out in the lobbies that people wanted to move back.
I remember that dynamic, yes.
I was there one semester. I was like, this is not nearly as cool. I think the dynamics changed since then, and obviously when you don't know any different, going in there, you know how to make friends and all that fun. But to me, that's kind of like a foundational story of the community and the fun and the being together. Evidenced also by our new, what you said, Nicholas and Bell. Like
yes.
They're built to have roommates, not the 4 quads.
And one reason we did that is when we surveyed the student body on what they wanted with housing, they said exactly what you have just said. They like the community. They like roommates. They like having the suites. And Butler Hall, which I think is pretty full now, but it was considered an advance and is in some ways of looking at it, because they're individual bedrooms. You have suite mates, but you have your own bedroom there. And with the Williams dynamic, folks enjoyed having roommates. They enjoyed that community aspect. And when we got around to building more residence halls, we just went back to the roommates and
I think that's smart.
That concept. Yes, very much so. It was also good news because it's more cost effective for a university to build those kinds of dorms than it is the apartments.
Yeah. Yep. Now, tell me maybe a few names or a few people that stand out over the decades. Obviously, me from 2007.
Yes.
Maybe
Highlight.
Toby from 2004. Maybe the Cash Hall guys from the early 2000s. But I'm just kidding, of course. But yeah, just tell me about some of the people you remember that you kind of clump into. They were all here at the same time.
Well, we had a group of professors, of faculty, that were here together for decades. And we knew the time would come when we would lose a lot of them in a hurry because retirement. They were all roughly the same age, so we knew when they got to be about retirement age, we were going to have to let a lot of our friends go off into retirement. And we have. That time finally came. But the time when you've already mentioned Dan Watson and Richard Cummins, who taught business when I started here. My friend Ken Gore, who was an old seminary friend and roommate, taught here for about 20 years. An Old Testament specialist. Joy Ring was my friend who lived across the street from me, taught business classes here, and we'll be telling Joy Ring stories from now until the end of time. Just a precious dear friend who we just lost in the last couple of months. But, Professor Jerry Gibbons, who still comes around, saw him at the basketball game Saturday. Bob and Dolores McGee, Dr. McGee, of course, led the singers for so many years. Dr. Paul Rhodes and Atlanta Rhodes. Paul taught in psychology. Atlanta taught math. The chance to have been here and shared the experience with them was wonderful. Of course, you had Ken Startup and Gerald Swaim and Tom Jones and now Stan Norman, the administrators that I've had the chance to work with. Each has brought their own gift to the university. God, I think, has brought all of them here in their time because that's they had a gift that God wanted to use at that time in the university.
That's awesome. What about students? Bert Stauber from the early 2000s, just the larger-than-life characters.
Yes, I still follow Bert on social media. Good to hear from him every now and then. Oh, there have been so many students because ultimately, Williams, one thing that has made this a blessing is to work with others who are sharing God's call to be here, and then the chance to invest in these students' lives. Now, for me, I think of students who have been in the cast because Melinda Williams and I have co-directed the cast drama team since fall of 1997. So Melinda is just an absolutely cherished friend based on that. And the students that we have had the chance to work with, and she directs them through the fall, and then I schedule them and drive them around in the van. But I have climbed on that white van with a load of students and gotten to know them and shared part of their life with them. And those are treasured relationships with some of those students. I keep up with them. Every time I see them, we'll be hugging each other's necks and catching up. What's up with you?
Was Daniel Ring in the cast?
Oh, he was, yes.
Okay, I was thinking he was.
Yes, just hilarious. One of the best comic actors I've had a chance to work with.
Yeah. I remember when we brought back Mr. WBU.
Yes.
In the first year we did it, he was really helpful in getting the production put together. And then he won, which was awesome. And then the next year we had some gags involving him. And that's, to me, those are just classic moments that belong in a movie. And Daniel Ring is the star of the show. That's just such a larger-than-life character.
Yes, and if I remember right, he won Mr. WBU in part because of his talent, which was a drama presentation.
Yeah.
From the Skit Guys, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. And, I'm remembering all that now. It was a really powerful skit, too.
Yes, absolutely was. Had a lot of meaning to it.
Yeah, it had a lot of heart to it.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
and so does Daniel.
Yep.
But those are students that I've enjoyed, and then just some that over the years hanging out in the cafeteria and getting to know some of those folks. I remember there was one group, this would have been close to your time. I told them I'd never seen any of the Harry Potter movies or read any of the books.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a real character flaw on my part. They did. They thought that had to be corrected. So for the next 5 or 6 weeks, every Saturday night at my house, they insisted that I watch the Harry Potter movies in sequence.
So did you watch from beginning to end?
I did.
Well, that would have been probably around 2011 or 12 then.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch them. Not because I thought they were demonic or evil. When they first came out, that's, you saw a lot of that online. But I didn't watch them until I met my wife now, and we watched them, and then there was 1 or 2 left to see in theaters. And so that was 2010
I think
era.
there
So.
were, I think I may have had to see one or two in theaters or rent them later, something like that. But
What would you think?
I found that to be a very entertaining film series.
Yeah.
And I'll still, flipping through channels, I'll see one and watch a little bit of it to see what I remember. It's been so long, I've forgotten some of the plots from those. But that was Jason Shiflett and some of the running crew in his days. They were the ones who, and it wasn't just the Harry Potter series. Those guys were at my house a fair bit.
Yeah. Jason and his crew hung out in the lobby all the time in front of Cash Wilson playing video games. I mean, they were always down there.
I'm guessing wherever they are now, they're doing something similar. I would not be surprised.
I think he's running like a virtual tour company out of Northwest Arkansas.
He is in Northwest Arkansas, and he's always got some enterprise like that. He is. You talk about a creative, enterprising guy. He is.
Yep. You're a big movie guy.
I do love movies.
Okay. Chris Farley, favorite actor of all time?
I can't give you that one,
wow,
Bill. I'm sorry. Now,
That's okay.
After Chris Farley, Will Ferrell was the it guy, and I really like Will Ferrell. Well, which one came first? Which one was
Farley?
Farley was, and you had Adam Sandler was the it guy for those kind of movies for a while. Will Ferrell. All of them are very funny. I think Tommy Boy asking about Will Farley, about Chris Farley.
That would be a mashup.
Yes.
Will Farley.
Wow, that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But, what a loss. He was. He was a funny guy.
He was, and he's kind of like that Daniel Ring, where hilarious, but also had a big heart. And
yes,
knew how to
and
showcase
kind of the
that.
secret. And you really have to say that for all three of the actors I've just named. They would play that goofy role well, but there was always some heart, something lovable about their characters that you could latch on to.
Yeah, you're into good movies. Seen a lot of good films in your life. You play music.
A little bit. If I would actually sit down and practice a little bit, I might play quite a bit of music. But
don't you have like a great guitar?
I bought a really nice Martin guitar from my uncle, who's a fantastic guitar player. And all I can do is just sit around and strum some chords.
Yeah.
I need to. That was one of my New Year's resolutions that I've already broken is practicing several nights a week because I always enjoy it when I do, but I'm gonna have to invest the time in it to get good at it.
That's an easy one to remedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can pick that up anytime now. You don't have to break your New Year's resolution. You have until December to.
And I plan to keep doing it. And I still do that. I'm one of those guys, when I see a guitar sitting in a room, I'm going to pick it up and strum on it a little bit. But I've not mastered the craft as you have.
Well, what's the plan for that, Martin?
To keep learning to play it.
Well, I mean, is there like who's going to inherit that thing? I guess is the question.
Are you wanting to be in my will?
I'm wondering if there's
for Bill? Are
a
you
room
trying
for
to get,
Bill in this will.
Well, we'll have to talk to our estate planners and see if that Martin guitar might just be in your future.
Well, okay, so I like your cousin Blake.
Yes.
And his kids are surprisingly hilarious.
Yes, they are. Not surprisingly, if you know Blake. He's the Coopers in general have a pretty good sense of humor.
Now, does anybody play guitar on that side?
Their granddad, Gerald, is an excellent guitar player. I don't think, if Blake plays, I'm not aware of it. I've never heard him talk about it. I think the younger boy, Seth, plays in the band.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, those are good Williams candidates, I think.
Yes, they are, and I'm working on them.
Yep. And Andy's kid, Ace, we're going to get him here. So, yep. We got a bright future at Williams. Got a lot of good people coming. So.
Yes, they do. Lane Thomas, we need you too.
Yep. We'll take them all. And you're, so you like movies, you like guitar, you're a good photographer.
That's right.
What other hobbies around the edge would people be surprised about?
I love to be outside.
Yep.
I love to be in the outdoors. My wife and I both enjoy traveling, and we like being, we like to go to the mountains. We like to go where we can get outside. I love to ride a bicycle, and Shannon is getting her bike in shape. So when the weather gets warm, I think we're going to do more of that, and avail ourselves of the rail trail this year.
Oh yeah.
I love to go out in the woods of Izard County, get on the 4-wheeler. Get up on a deer stand a few times in the fall, do that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I don't know if any of that would be a surprise, but I do love to be in the outdoors.
Yep. And kayaking?
Yes.
Yep. You kayaked. Which river was it?
Well, several of them.
There was one you seemed like you did a lot. Was it Strawberry River?
The Strawberry River is one of my favorites. You can put in over by Evening Shade, Arkansas, and go down to the Simstown access. It's a Game and Fish Commission access. That's a great float. Takes you 3-4 hours, something like that. That's something I do a lot with my family. And then my wife and I have a little weekend getaway in Cherokee Village on a lake, so we enjoy getting the kayaks out on the lakes there.
What year did you get married?
In 2022, November the 19th.
And what song was being sung as y'all walked out of the room?
As we were walking out, we were so proud of this. We didn't put it in the program because we wanted people to enjoy the surprise. We had her sing "At Last."
Yep.
The old Etta James song.
Yeah, I remember being so surprised and also thinking this is more. What could be more fitting?
Well, that was our thinking.
Yeah,
it was actually Shannon had said she loves the song when we were planning the wedding, and we both started laughing and said, "Oh, we've got to walk out to that. That has to be it." So when we were putting Anna Vitato down, Anna Ring in those days, we just put that she would sing the recessional. We didn't put what the song was so that folks would have
smart.
the surprise. But Shannon and I are both late bloomers. When we got married, 106 years of collective single life ended because put our two ages together. So great blessing of God for both of us.
Yeah, y'all seem like you get along, and there's a lot of compatibility there.
Yeah, God knew what he was doing. We're like two puzzle pieces together.
Is she liking Walnut Ridge?
She enjoys Walnut Ridge, yes.
Yep. And y'all live in the Cove? We
do, and she enjoys that a great deal. We enjoy especially seeing the kids in the Cove.
Yeah.
We enjoy seeing your daughter. She happens about the neighborhood, although her buddy is no longer on our street. We don't see her as much anymore. But yes, we just enjoy the Williams experience.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I remember when y'all first got married, you mentioned that y'all might be looking at some other places or building or doing something unique. But then after living here, she just fell in love with it, which I think just gives more weight to what you're saying about just how special of a place this is.
It absolutely is.
How easy it is to fall in love with the community over here.
And that's really what happened. She fell in love with the neighborhood, just enjoyed being around our people, and we've put roots down in that neighborhood now.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad y'all did.
Well, thank you.
So, well, Dr. Cooper / just Brett, thank you so much for joining us on the Williams Pulse and getting to know you. And this is
fun. I hope I haven't meandered all over the place on you here.
That's exactly what I want people to do.
Okay.
So, mission accomplished.
Okay. Meander is accomplished then.
Yeah. All right. Well, if anybody needs to get a hold of you, your email address is bcooper@williamsbu.edu.
That is correct.
Students who think that they're coming to see you because they have a problem or in trouble with Williams Works might find that they land into the arms of grace with you, and
yes,
probably should come to you long before the problem gets too big to solve.
I would recommend that. Yeah, one thing we didn't talk about was Williams Works, how we launched that program. Dr. Norman gave me one of the greatest blessings of my time at Williams and allowing me to be involved with this innovative program. We've still got a lot of building to do, and I plan to enjoy every step along the way of the building that we're going to do with this. But it's a great way for students to get an academically outstanding Christ-centered education, and a great way to learn about the working world before they actually graduate and get out into it.
Yeah. No, and I completely agree with all that, and you are doing an excellent job in leading that initiative.
Well, thank you.
Yep. Keep up the good work, and it's not too late for somebody to apply for the fall of 2026.
Not at all.
Definitely not too late for fall of 2027.
Yes.
And you might be the first one to apply for fall of 2028.
But get that application in. Go ahead and do it. No, we actually, yes. And folks ask me that from time to time. When is the deadline to apply? So please go ahead and apply, because we're still adding folks to our fall cohort. We'd love to have you.
Yep. All right. Brett, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bill. This has been fun.
Agreed. See you later.
Thanks, man.